Welcome to Everyday Entrepreneurs Everywhere with your host, Chris Parker.
Hello, this is
Hello.
Chris Parker, and I'm here with Dian Ijkhout, and we are on Everyday Entrepreneurs Everywhere. And Dian is a very special entrepreneur, and I'll let her share what she does because she's involved in a couple different activities. And I've known Dian for years as well. Met you through your husband originally, Christian. Who I also have been interviewing as well. And you are a completely different person and a magical person as well as he is. And you're involved in well, let's let you explain, dance and things like that. So, Dion,
Yeah.
can you share with us what is it that you do and why do you do what you do?
Well, yes, I can share.
Yeah.
I do lots of things.
Yeah.
Actually, I've been a dancer for
Mm-hmm.
almost all my life. I started dancing when I was 4 years old, and I actually never stopped. And meanwhile, I'm also a sport massage
Mm-hmm.
therapist, and I teach dance and I teach theater, which are
Mm-hmm.
all my passions. So. Um, your question, what is it that you do, made me think. I actually work with movement and human bodies, and what I
Mm-hmm.
see inspires me in multiple ways.
Mm-hmm.
So that it's
And why? So what is it that brings you into that? And you've been dancing all your life. What is it about the movement of bodies that keeps you busy in that area for your whole life?
well for me. Being able to dance was being able to speak better than I can do with words. Like when I
Mm,
use words, I get easily tangled up in thoughts or in trying to find the right ones, right words, but I never have that in dance. It is
mm,
so clear, and it's so nice to read or listen to someone just by looking at them and how they speak with their body.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, and also in my massage work, it's kind of like braille. It's like reading the body with my hands.
Mm.
It's a communication
And
way.
what do you read? What is it that you interpret, or what is it that you like when you are doing a sports massage and you're reading someone like Braille? What is it that you read?
Well, yeah, you read. I read where the tension is. I
Mm,
read the differences of tension, but I also read when someone comes back. I can read the change. I
mm,
can. Yeah, you get so much information about the body and how they feel and how they fight or how they struggle. You can
yeah,
get a lot of information, and it's beautiful.
yeah. It reminds me a bit of a story of a good friend of mine, Anil, who's Indian, and he told me years ago, I know, that massage was just part of his childhood. That when when he was laying in bed or something, his mom or dad would actually be working on those legs, or that there was the physical contact of parent and child was just part of his being, in fact. And that's something I try to do with the boys as well. And I want to put in my two boys when I'm putting in the bed, just to get my fingers in there and into the arms and the legs, a little bit on the back. And I never thought about it at reading, but you can really, at least I can very roughly detect where they are, I guess, emotionally at that point as well, because you can see if they're
Yeah,
tensed and stuff like that as well. So it's no, beautiful. So
nice. Yeah, I do
um,
the same. I do the same with my. We've got two girls, and one of them loves it when I stroke her through the hair or grab her hand and just massage only that bit. It's really nice, and you feel them calming down and relaxing.
yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah, I think
then also what we do when we have pain or you're injured, the first thing you want to do is grab it yourself and put pressure on. So you want to hold
mm,
the things you feel.
yeah. Yeah, I think listening to you and to Anil and people, I would love it if my kids, when they're older, said, yeah, my father was there. I never was wanting for a hug, and and I had massages or rubs going to sleep. Yeah, beautiful. So,
Yeah.
going back to your dancing, you did say that I can ask you anything during
Yeah.
this. So,
I might not answer, but no.
well, I remember a couple months ago, maybe not. I'm in Corona time, so that's all. Time is a bit of a blur right now. But I saw a video of you, short movie, dancing in
Yeah.
the twilights on a bridge in a city. Very artistic, very beautiful,
Yeah.
flowing, moving. What was that?
Oh, that was fun.
That was
No, that
clearly
was
fun. Yeah.
Christian, my husband, got worked on this small project, which was based in New Zealand. And it is a linear way of filming. So someone wrote the script, then it went to someone else who could be living in a different country, and then there was an actor who uh, uh, spoke the voice, made a voice recording, and then it came to someone that made the images. In this case, Christian, and then you make the images by the story that's already there, and then a fourth person does the soundscape.
Mm-hmm.
So you only have a small bit in the whole process. So he received the words and the small script, and we're thinking. And then I thought you could use me because it was actually kind of abstract, the text. But dance can also be very abstract, and then you put them together, then all of a sudden it can make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to do that. So we went out to shoot. We had 24 hours to shoot it. So we went
Mm-hmm.
out into the city on the bridge, 4 o'clock in the morning. Nobody was there, so it was really nice. And we just improvised
Mm-hmm.
the whole thing. It was wonderful.
Yeah. How was that experience for you? What was the memory?
Yeah, to be inside the city with absolutely no one around.
Mm.
I mean, it was Corona time, but there was no one, not no one jogging, just the birds. And then to be moving on the text, which was about the silence of the city and wanting the city
Mm.
to wake up and to make some noise again, it kind of all fell together.
Mm.
So that was really nice. Yeah.
Nice. Oh, it was striking in my mind because I watched it. I didn't understand the backstory of it, but I could clearly see and feel that there's something meaningful going on there. So,
Yeah.
if it's available later, I'll get the link from you or something. We can put it in the notes so people can. So you are also an actress then, in addition to your other activities.
Yes,
Yes.
though I'm the best actress when I'm allowed to improvise. I
Mm.
cannot really learn text and stuff.
Yeah.
That's really difficult. But I love to play and yeah, play with theater and acting is wonderful.
Beautiful. So let's loop
Yeah.
back to your business, and it is dance related, dance teaching, dancing. Also, the physical body with the moving and things. How over time, how have you decided where to actually work in dance? Because dance, I think, like any industry, will have an endless amount of roles and tasks, and you can probably work for companies. But what I'm familiar with, you have been an independent sort of dance instructor through
Yeah.
multiple schools, I guess. Um, what was your decision making in order to create your business like that?
I don't think I kind of gave it a thought as in having a goal and working towards that goal.
Mm.
It kind of came along. So I started off dancing in musicals, and I actually started dance because of I was a big fan of Singing in the Rain and Gene Kelly,
Mm.
Fred Astaire, all that kind of that got me into this whole wanting to dance in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But when I did the musicals, it was fun, but it was not fulfilling in a way, and I never knew why. But later on, I started to teach as well. I was asked to substitute, and I kind of rolled into that. And I turns out that I have a big passion to teach, and especially to work with children, because I think I'm actually a big child. My brain, I call it a fluid brain. So because I go from one idea to the other. And when you work with kids, it's a great tool because I can kind of jump in and out with them. It's crazy, but it's wonderful to have a space where you can be crazy. Yeah, so it kind of rolled into that. And now with hindsight, what I discovered is that one of the things I bump into in my life is perfection versus imperfection. So whereas when I make stuff, I love the imperfection. I love it when things go wrong. That's where it gets interesting, when it starts rubbing and there's something going on. But when I did musicals, it was all about being perfect. You wanted to do look perfect. This is what, and I'm actually, I think, not even good enough to be that perfect. But I'm good enough to have the heaps of fun to do it. So in my teaching and in making, I make choreographies also with the students. There I find that, that actually that sense of joy, which is this is what there is, and it doesn't matter if you fail, because there's actually no such thing as failing. There's just a whoops, it doesn't go the way you want it. How are you going to catch it? And what are you going to do with it? So when I make work, so I make choreographies for my students, I always want to teach them to not be afraid for when things go wrong, because when you're on stage, the chance is big that things are going to go wrong. But to embrace it and then use it. So whenever I see my own work back and I see the kids having these moments that I didn't invent, but they kind of, I see how they use it and bloom with it, then I did my job so well.
Wow, it's actually profound insights there. In my world, of course, is more of a corporate, structured organization, and one of the words that people are really talking about is anti-fragility. So basically, not breaking, because and what I heard from you is in teaching the kids to be not afraid of when something goes wrong. That means they don't have that stress and anxiety to recover. And then if your mind is free to be creative and just flow with it, and that's actually a lesson that we're still trying to learn as corporate organizations, to allow people to fail and to learn and to adapt, because oftentimes society doesn't celebrate that they're expecting perfection all the time. So beautiful lessons for your students.
And I still, I mean, it's still difficult. You see it in life all the time, where you feel like you have to fulfill a certain something. But the theater is actually a really safe space to kind of play and learn these skills. That's why I like the improvisation as much as I do, because it's all about looking at the moment. What is there now, and what do you do with it? Sometimes you have better moments or funnier moments, but all the moments work. And that's cool. It's also great in terms of how do you cooperate together. And if I have an improvisation or coming up and I already think I want to do that, I'm already forcing someone else in my improvisation. So even at that short notice, you have to learn to let go. And if someone else wants to do something else, how do you then find your togetherness in that?
No, it's funny again, and then you're stimulating just so many thoughts in my brain. So one of the things I enjoy doing is selling stuff, even though I'm not a salesperson. And I really enjoy selling stuff on a team. And we actually have pre-action reviews and post-action reviews. And the words I use is a performance. And so because when I'm there, imagine we're selling some software or something, and it's a bit like a dance. It is a discussion, it's a dialogue, it's a dance, and things go wrong, and people say that silly things or weird questions come, and I think is if you're flowing with it and have that sort of, you call it safety, to I just love that, and afterwards, if the sales dance went well, and that didn't mean that you sold something, but for me the experience went well. I love to process that as well. Say, okay, what did you learn? What did you see? How did that feel for you? Because that's the learning and growing. How do you process this with the students? Meaning, how do you reinforce it's okay to fail? By that definition, and then this is how you adapt, and this is how you learn. Do you have techniques for that, or is it?
It's a difficult question, I think, to answer, because it's part of me and who I am and how I teach. So I kind of bring it along with me, because when I teach and we make stuff and I see things, I think I see sometimes in a different, or I look at the kids in a different way. So I pick out different elements in them than other teachers would.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they make a mistake, I might keep it, because I love the thing they just brought in. But also I give assignments. So I have a theme I want to work with, and I give them can you say that, opdrachten? So things to do.
Assignments, tasks.
Yeah, tasks where they have to make their own work. So I'm kind of kneading them slowly but gradually in the kind of material that I would like to work with. But sometimes that surprises me, because sometimes I'm kneading them, but they're giving me something back that I didn't expect. And then I go, wow, I want to use that. And also sometimes I think, nice in this process, but maybe not for on stage. Maybe keep that as part of this process.
Sounds like a series of gentle, caring, respecting, loving nudges.
Yeah.
And little micro corrections. So
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. But the big feedback is when the piece is there, when the piece is on the stage and I see it, and it feels like my piece, but it surprises me in all different ways. Because they make it their own. I always call it when the students are able to make the material or the work we put on their own, then I did my job well. And then they can surprise me with even they continue with the material. It grows.
It's so funny that the parallels, our worlds are so completely different, yet so completely parallel as well. Because my assignments are coming in for adults, large children, and in corporates, oftentimes they act like children. So do I. And something I always look for is when am I obsolete? Meaning, when has the change taken hold, or when is the new way of working and a new culture, or the new technology, or whatever we're working on? And when does the people I'm working with, when have they mastered it or made it more their own than I brought to them? And then that's my signal. Okay, I'm done here. I can, in the same company, go do something else. Or, okay, you are now masters of your destiny. You've made your thing, and that's beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah. So, looking at your business, and one of the perspectives that we use in coaching is for an entrepreneur to work on their business, as an entrepreneurial effort, as opposed to in your business, which is really driven by your content.
Yeah.
So I'm just really curious, how do you grow your business? Meaning, how do you get new schools to teach at, or how do you attract students to your courses, or what is your strategies or tactics for growing your business?
Good one. I'm actually not really much thinking about growing my business, because my business is big enough that I can handle it. So I don't need it to grow.
Great.
And things just come in my way. It's like they pop by, and every now and then I do something and I think, it doesn't really fit me, or I try and keep looking at the balance of what does it bring me, but also what can I give back? So yeah, there's actually I like to have that as a philosophy of life. If I'm at a certain space, I always want to see what do I bring, what
Hmm.
do I bring back, how to make the circle round. And for my massage work, so far it's been word of mouth, and it's going really well. Actually, that well that I for now for a short while I said put a stop on new clients, and then
Wow.
I'll open it up in September again. It just rolls, and I think people find me when they need it, and when they can move on, they move on.
Well, this I'll find very deeply disturbing.
Yeah, you do.
Well, because I paid really, really good money for an MBA,
Yeah,
and there's very thick books that tell me all these really interesting ways to sell and grow my business.
yeah,
And I'm you know you are one of the type of people that I really wanted to interview on this, because you're doing something which I would love to learn from, and you're doing something, you're following your passion, you're giving first. You know what you want to grow or not grow. And all of these tactics that we are fixated on in the corporate world, you know, it, I hope my contemporaries are listening to this and listening to how Dian is, managing her business, because it just feels so good. So it's you're the first person to answer so far after like 20 of these, that you've decided not to grow your business, which I've been waiting for, because
yeah,
because why do you have to grow your business?
yeah.
So
But
do you
I
know?
also, I even sometimes have difficulty with the word business, but that's because when I hear business, then that's my personal association with that word. So it might be completely different for someone
Hmm,
else. But I think of taking bigger and more money and growing. Yeah, I don't need. I think of what I do more as a craft. This is where my
hmm,
talent is. This was where what I can give.
hmm,
And if I put it in the place where it's seen and where it can be used, therefore automatically it comes back to me.
yeah,
And the good thing about that is I instantly know when I'm at the wrong place, because then it costs me. Then I come back drained, or then I come back and I think,
hmm,
nah. And sometimes it's for a whole big group, and they have a few
hmm,
of them that think, hey, I reached them, and that could be worth it because I reached a few. And sometimes when I feel my energy level is going down, okay, sometimes you have to let ships sink in order to sail somewhere
yeah.
else.
No, I'm not sure if you've done it yet, but the simplicity scan, the simplicity canvas, that's part of the ebullient, approaches. It, it, in a way, it could be sort of my intellectual way of being a bit more mindful, like you just described. Um, because what triggered me was if it doesn't feel good for you, and
Yeah,
something that I am absolutely trying to be more in tune with is that for me, which is the reality of, if it doesn't feel good, it won't end well, and be open to that feeling, even if I can't rationally prove it and why doesn't it feel good. But
yeah,
for me, the simplicity scan, those 15 questions, is for me, it's a very selfish tool for me, because sometimes I get, through my enthusiasm, involved in activities that start to feel bad. And what I do with the simplicity scan is just sit down with the other people that I'm working with and have them fill it out as well. And then we will, it sort of forces us to see if it's going to work sooner.
yeah,
Because if we can't even answer 15 questions remotely the same, maybe we shouldn't be doing this thing. So
yeah.
maybe it's my little selfish tactic to be a bit more mindful that way as well. So no, lovely. So
Yeah, cool.
yeah, I'm really curious on the next question, because and I'm probably going out of order, but efficiency, and efficiency is a very business question, and but over time, have you found ways, or how do you find ways to be more maybe efficiency is the wrong word, but more productive. So to create more value for the energy you put in it in your dance lessons or your massage.
Well, I think in my case, I need to give myself a little bit more space to do nothing,
Mm-hmm.
to walk through the city and have no tasks on my head. Sometimes my life is a hectic puzzle because of the theater, and I'm an independent teacher, so most of the times I go to a certain school, I have to go on my bike, cross Amsterdam, teach somewhere, and then bike back, teach at another school, and then bike back, and then I have a couple of massages, which all in itself is fine, but the multitasking in a day can be a bit much. And then Corona was actually really nice to be able to stop that and think about that. So now, because I haven't been able to really start with my dance class and theater class, because that's all very contact bound, but I have started with my massage. But that's really calm now because I set it up with more time around every client. So I have the time to clean the space, but I also have time to, because I still massage with a mask on for safety. But then I have time to take it off, to have a little me time, and then to start again. Whereas before Corona, I would have only a very short. Sometimes one would leave and the doorbell would go for the other. And I prefer now. I much rather have more space and more calmness, even though I make less money if you look at it efficient wise, but I don't mind.
No,
Actually.
I'm this for me. The Corona time has been such a blessing, and some people look at me funny because we do know people in our network who have passed away because of the virus, which is a tragedy about this whole thing. But looking at myself, it helped me sort of break this psychological loop that made me dependent to go to a corporate office every day. And I was like, well, actually, I can do really interesting and valuable things here as well. So I'm curious what happens after Corona, if there is an after Corona. That I imagine I'll be a hybrid of doing a little bit less of the corporate stuff, maybe like you, maybe a little bit less of this go, and counterbalance it with some other things that I find nourishing, like this, talking to you. Maybe in the near future we can, see each other more and have the families over for dinner as well, because that's also fun. But
Great idea.
Yeah, but you're heading out to Portugal to holiday soon, and that sounds exciting as well. So
yeah.
Last two quick questions. Is there something that like a smart cut or a tip or a trick that has helped you simplify your life a lot lately or at any time?
Oh dear. Well, I walked a lot, which really helped me. Just to go out and to walk through the city. And then your brain with its thoughts will bring you something. And they will bring you the tips you need.
Yeah. No, it's
That
amazing.
really helped
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
It's amazing to give your brain the space. Keep it on. It will bring the answers to you. It's why don't we learn this in school? But Dian, thank you so much. How can people get in touch with you, maybe for dance lessons for their kids or for massages after September when you have space again?
Yes.
How can people find you?
Well, I have my website, which is Dian Ijkhout .com and .nl, both work. And then Ijkhout is with the I and the J.
Yeah.
Which is you have to
Ijkhout. Yeah, Ijkhout.
Exactly.
We'll put them in the show notes as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have a YouTube channel where I put some of my work on. So if you want to see some of that, it's not like stylized work. It's just what I do with the kids and the pieces I make, but also the little films we made for my after preschool activities. We call it NSA. Yeah. I have a
Lovely.
LinkedIn.
We'll put your LinkedIn, your website, your YouTube on there. Great. Dian, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Learn more at ebullient.com/podcast.